There's been a lot of talk recently about the real and root cause of inflation, where you've had a lot of media articles saying that corporate greed is what's causing inflation, and it's the reason why inflation is still here, and it's the reason why inflation is not going down. That corporate greed, wanting to maximize their profits, is why we are seeing the inflationary issues. It's why Americans are struggling to survive. It's why Americans are struggling to succeed, because we have all this corporate greed. Now, I want to address this because all the blame for inflation is being tied to corporate greed. And I think the first thing that I want to highlight here is people are saying that corporations are greedy, and because of that, inflation exists, which really doesn't make much sense because, for one, obviously corporations are greedy. Why is that news? It's like saying water is wet. Corporations are in the business of making a profit. If you were in the business of selling microphones and you tested the markets and you saw, okay, people saw this microphone at $200 and they weren't going to buy it, but they will buy it at $210, and I'm going to make a bigger profit at $210, I'm going to sell it for $210. Your job as a corporation is to sell products at the right price that's going to give you the most sales. That's what a corporation does. Period. Banks are in the business of lending money. They want to lend you as much money as possible. Corporations are in the business of selling stuff. They want to make the biggest profits possible. You are in the business of getting the best salary possible. Is it employment greed when you ask for a salary raise? Is it corporate greed when corporations want to make bigger profits? Because if corporations don't make bigger profits, they can't pay you a bigger salary. If corporations don't make bigger profits, they can't even employ you. So it's very interesting to see the way that things have kind of played about, but you don't see the opposite when employees want a bigger salary. Why is that not employment greed? Or why is it not banking greed when banks want to lend you money? Or why is it not realtor greed when realtors want to sell you a bigger home? Or why is it not salesperson greed when car salespeople want to sell you a bigger car? That's the reality of what it is. Corporations want to sell you more stuff. Banks want to lend you more money. Salespeople want to sell you bigger things. That's how it works. So now let's go back to now, what is the cause of inflation? Well, if it's really corporate greed, let's really dissect this. If I can make this microphone for $10 and I'm selling it for $500 because of my corporate greed, well, what's probably going to happen is somebody's going to say, holy moly, Jaspreet's got this decent microphone with huge margins. I want to enter this microphone business. Now, how about I create a better microphone for $20 and I sell it for $400? Now, then a competitor comes and they start undercutting me, and that's what then causes a correction in the free market. Now, of course, there's a lot of issues going on today which sometimes prevent the free market from working, but in a free market, when you have a lot of corporate greed, that also creates a lot of corporate opportunities for entrepreneurs to come in, find these high profit margin businesses, and then go out and undercut other businesses, which cause the prices of things to go down. That's why technology is actually known as a deflationary industry, because technology causes the price of things to go down. If you don't believe me, look at the price of TVs over the last number of years or decades. Why has the price of TVs come down so significantly? Because of technology. They have allowed the cost of things to go down. So technology creates competition, or one of the reasons why we can see the price of things to go down. Competition can also cause the price of things to go down. But now let's go back to that topic though, of what then causes the inflation, because in reality, inflation only has one root cause, and this root cause can then cause the corporate greed. But it's kind of interesting, because if corporate greed is the cause of inflation, then how come it's not employment greed that's the cause of inflation? Why is it not housing greed when you want a bigger home that's causing inflation? Why is it not Chipotle greed when you want double meat, causing the price of Chipotle items to go up? Well, the root cause of inflation, and the only root cause of inflation, is the increase of the monetary supply. When you increase the amount of dollars out there, you devalue each individual dollar, which then causes the price of things to go up. Because now when you flood the economy with more dollars, people have more dollars, businesses have more dollars. That means there's more consumption availability. Because when you have more access to money, and this could be money in your bank account, or this could be credit, because that's how our economic system works, that it's not how much money you have in your bank, but how much spending ability that you have. When you have more spending ability, well, then there's more upward price potential. Because now when a business does their job and they say, okay, let's market the price of microphones. Should we sell it for 200, 150, or 250? What's going to drive the most revenue and what's going to drive the most sales and what's going to drive the most profit? And now the business marketing executives are saying, whoa, it's no longer $150 that's making us the most money. It's $250. In fact, maybe it's $275. Now, businesses have the ability to raise their prices. Now, it's not just the fact that businesses have the ability to raise their prices, it's also that business costs have risen. Why have businesses' costs risen? Well, for one, the cost of raw materials has also gone up. Why has the cost of raw materials also gone up? Because the demand for so many items has gone up. Right? When you print all this money and you throw it into our economic system, businesses and people get access to money and people start shopping. Everybody starts buying. And now when everybody starts buying, there's more demand, not enough supply. Businesses have to produce more products. Their suppliers then get backed up and they need to produce more products, which then causes the price of things to go up. And in addition to that, labor costs have also gone up. If you've gotten a raise in the last couple of years, well, then that also contributes to the higher reasons why businesses need to make more money because they have to pay more money. And many times, employee salaries have gone up more than 5 or 7% in the last couple of years. So now when you have costs going up, businesses also have to make more money. And at the same time, businesses are always trying to make more money. That's the name of the game for businesses. Their business revolves around trying to maximize their profits. I'm going to jump back into the video in just 1 second, but before we do, if you are an investor and you're looking for an easy and free way to stay up to date on what's happening in the top financial news, from the economy to the housing market to the stock market to the crypto market to the global economy, then you have to check out Market Briefs. Market Briefs is my free financial newsletter that I created that will keep you up to date on what's happening in the financial news. You can read the newsletter in less than 5 minutes every morning. It's a fun and easy to read email and it's completely free. So if you haven't joined Market Briefs yet, I got the link to how you can join down in the description below. But this is where it's very interesting because everyone wants to point fingers at something or someone as to the cause of inflation. And now we're seeing the blame go to corporations for doing what corporations do, which is try to make money, which really should not be that big of a surprise. If you're surprised that corporations are greedy, well, you might want to take a couple economic lessons because, well, businesses are in the business of making money. That's what they do. If they didn't make money, you wouldn't have a job, period. The second thing, though, is how come we're not pointing fingers at the true root cause of inflation? If the government wasn't spending so much money, we wouldn't have so much money printing. If we didn't have so much money printing, there wouldn't be so much excess money out there. If there wasn't so much excess money out there, businesses wouldn't even have the ability to raise their prices because people wouldn't be able to spend. And if people couldn't spend and afford a business's higher costs, they wouldn't have the ability to raise their prices. And so then businesses would have to cool down their price growth. Because if businesses can't sell a product for a higher price, if I go to market and I'm looking at the best price from a microphone and I look at $150, $200, and $250, and I see nobody can afford $250 and we can't move enough products, well, either I'm going to stop the production of this microphone or I'm going to find a way to sell it for $200 or whatever the right price point is. And so the root cause of inflation isn't businesses being greedy, because we already know businesses are greedy. That's what businesses do. They're in the business of making money. We need to address the real root cause, which is the government spending, which is funded by money printing, right? The government has been running a trillion or multi-trillion dollar deficit for the last number of years, which means that money has to come from somewhere. If the government spends $1 trillion that they don't have, well, either they're going to borrow this money or this money is going to get printed. If this money gets printed, now the government has just printed $1 trillion out of thin air thanks to the help of the Federal Reserve Bank, and this money gets injected into our economy. Now people have more spending ability. If people have more spending ability, the prices of things will continue to rise. That's how inflation works. And so now when you blame the byproduct of inflation on the cause of inflation, you're never going to get to the real cause of inflation. Now I get it. People are upset about the price of things. People are upset when they see the price of their eggs so expensive and they see businesses selling eggs making record profits. But you got to remember, businesses are in the business of trying to make money. It is a business's goal to make higher profits, and they're going to always try to do that. So instead of trying to tell gravity, stop being gravity, How about you look at the root cause of the gravity and the root cause of the inflation, which in this case is the money printing, which is controlled by the Federal Reserve Bank, which happens because of government spending. The government spends more money than they have or that they bring in, which means they have to print more money from the Federal Reserve Bank, which then causes the devaluation of the dollar, which is inflation, which then causes the price of things to go up, which then causes businesses to raise the price of their products, which forces them now to sometimes make bigger profits, which also forces them to make higher revenues because, well, they're selling more stuff and they're selling their products at a higher price because, well, if people have the ability to spend and the prices of things go up, businesses are going to sell more stuff. Now, of course, we're going to see a lot more pain in the economy as we're working to fix the inflation problem, but there's one root cause to the inflation, and it's not corporate greed. It's the money printing, and that's what ultimately caused the inflation. And so when we talk about inflation, you want to make sure you understand what's really going on because, well, the media, traditional media is always going to put their spin on it, but your job as a financially educated person is to really understand what's going on. That way, of course, you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your community. The housing market has never been this unaffordable. At least that's according to Business Insider, who just put out an article titled "The Housing Market Has Never Been This Unaffordable for Buyers." And the reason why, according to Business Insider, is because number one, interest rates have skyrocketed so much, and number two, prices for homes have not come down. Let me read you a sentence in this article. It